I have a crock pot, a stock pot, I think it's called. It's like a 5-gallon pot. And I have 3 gallons of castor oil in it and a couple of pounds of herbs extracting. And I put it on the stove for a very low heat. I try to keep it at about 130 degrees and leave it on the stove all day. And at night, I turn it off, and there's so much thermal mass that in the morning, even though the stove's off, that's still warm. That much oil and herb is going to hold that heat. It won't be that hot, but it'll still be warm. And in the morning, I turn it back on again, and I do that for about 3 weeks, every day for 3 weeks. Because castor oil is fairly viscous, pretty thick. That means it's not a good wetting agent, not a good solvent in respects. I really do like to extract the herbs into the oil as well as possible. That's kind of my methodology for that. And I incorporate that into my Self-Heal Balm. I just got back a little while ago from the health food store at OB. I made a delivery where I delivered some of my balm there. That stuff flies off the shelf. I have 3 different variations of that, one with just DMSO. Well, it's got a bunch of other stuff in it too. But about 10 years ago, I started putting DMSO in it, Dimethyl sulfoxide. And then a couple of years ago, I started putting CBD in it. I wanted to put CBD in it 25 years ago when I first started making it. But 25 years ago, a gram of CBD was $250, right? There was only one chemical company in America that sold it. It was super expensive. I have a chemist friend now that was one of my students, and I get it much less expensive from him. I came out with 250 milligrams of the CBD cannabidiol isolate, one of the cannabinoids in cannabis, and people loved it. And then my friend said he now had available a full spectrum CBD, which is CBD is only one of the 110 cannabinoids in cannabis, but this extract has all 110, not just CBD. But it also has, besides the cannabinoids, it has flavonoids and terpenoids. It's way more therapeutic. It's like herbs themselves. Herbs are pretty balanced. Mother Nature puts everything in there to make it work great, and natural buffers and whatnot. And it's not generally just one compound that does the business, but it's supported by other things. And it's true also with cannabis. And there's a little THC in it too, but a very, very little, like 0.016%. And if you have less than 0.3% of THC in your product, then you can manufacture it and market it legally. But mine's got way less than that in there. But even though it's only a tiny bit, it potentiates the other cannabinoids, not just the tetrahydrocannabinoid, which it is, but also the other cannabinoids, including the CBD. The health food store sells about 40 jars a month of that full spectrum CBD, and there's 700 milligrams of that in there.
So what is it called?
It's called Self-Heal Balm. Self-Heal Balm, in all 3 iterations. You can get it with just the DMSO and the other good stuff. You can get it with the 250 milligrams of the CBD isolate. But the good one is the 700 milligrams of the full spectrum with all that good stuff in there, all the terpenoids and flavonoids. And that's the really good stuff. My neighbor, I told him I had that, and he had a bad back, basically. And he put that on there, and the next morning, he didn't have a bad back. And his son went out dirt biking with his motorcycle on a dirt track and dumped it and bruised some ribs, and they were sore. He put that on there, and the next day they weren't sore. It works that fast. I just gave him that jar, and then they bought 3 jars, and then yesterday the guy bought another jar.